Hi, I'm Matt Eland. I'm at IntegerMan on Twitter, and I write at accessibleai.dev about artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science. So I want to talk about Microsoft Azure and their artificial intelligence offerings. Now, specifically, I want to talk about their cognitive services. This is just one portion of their AI offerings that they have on the cloud, but it's a really capable solution. Now, cognitive services is this umbrella term that Microsoft uses to refer to a silo of these APIs that use machine learning solutions, but they're kind of pre-packaged and ready for you to integrate them into your applications. So they have things out there that help you with text analytics, with vision processing, computer vision, speech recognition, speech synthesis, speech translation, and then some more advanced decision-making capabilities. And they offer all of this as part of one service in the Azure platform called Cognitive Services. Now, each one of these things you can also have an individual service of if you wanted. We'll talk a little bit more about the distinction there. But Cognitive Services is this one service that lets you use all these little APIs with the same ease of access and the single place to manage it in a portal, in the Azure portal, which is pretty cool. So let's take a look at each one of these four areas in more depth and what you can do with them. So with the text offerings, they let you take in a portion of text and it can identify things like the language it was in. It can extract key entities such as a place, a location, a date, quantities, people. And it actually is rather intelligent about this. For example, if you tell it your language is English, it can actually kind of parse out the difference usually between like a riverbank and like a bank you might store money in. And that's pretty awesome. Take you a lot of custom language processing code on your own to come up with something like that. Sentiment analysis, they're looking at some piece of text, also called a corpus, and they are analyzing it for keywords indicating how happy or angry a user might be. And so it's going to give you a score, or just kind of indicating just their level of happiness or dissatisfaction as the case might be. So it can help you quickly flag tweets or other texts that might be maybe a little negative, and maybe don't put those live and have them be flagged for review or follow-up. Language understanding, or LUIS, this is their language understanding service. It's very similar to how conversational AI might work, where the user says something and we call that an utterance. And the LUIS service knows some intents. This is like, I specifically want to do this one task, and I might say a number of different things to try to accomplish that. So, for example, turn off the lights is one utterance for the, deactivates lights intent. But you also might say, hey, lights off, or please turn off the lights. These are all sample utterances. Now, LUIS phrases, we also have entities, and entities are things inside of that statement that you're making that might be relevant for the command you're trying to give. For example, turn off the lights in the living room versus turn off the lights in the hallway. The entity there might be the living room or the hallway, and that could get passed into some piece of code that you write to be able to respond to this intent. So LUIS helps you match utterances to intents and provides you the entities associated with those. Pretty cool service. Translation lets you translate from one language to another from their range of supported languages, which is large and growing, which is pretty cool. And then they also have some question answering capabilities, which really indicate more into the bot framework, the Q&A maker, things like that. So there's aspects of the text portion of the cognitive services that plug into the conversational AI engine, which is pretty cool. So moving on to vision. Vision is maybe the most impressive part to me of the cognitive services. So Microsoft basically gives you a pre-trained computer vision solution that can look at things out there, and it looks at its database of things it knows about. And it says, hey, I'm looking at this image and I see a cat, a tree, and a squirrel, for example. And it might even tell you where they are. It's pretty cool. You don't have to train it. You don't have to give it any of your own information or images. It's just a ready-made image recognition. So let's say you allow users to upload an image to your application. You can send that image on to the computer vision API via Cognitive Services or a standalone computer vision API, and it's going to say, hey, this looks like a picture of a tree with a squirrel and a cat. and that's kind of cool. Custom vision is very much like computer vision, except you're the one providing the images. If you don't like using the ones that are kind of baked in for everybody's consumption, you can kind of train it with a collection of your own user-provided images. This is really cool if you wanted to try to recognize some of your own products or locations around your office or where your applications are expected to be used. You could use custom vision, but you're going to have to provide your own images and probably a lot of them to get accurate results. Text extraction is optical character recognition, or OCR. There's two APIs for this. There's the OCR API, which is the simpler one to use. It's used for quicker results with smaller pieces of text. And then there's the newer read API, but that's more asynchronous. And that's for handling the larger pieces of text, such as a page in a book or multiple pages in a book. Finally, there's the face API, which can look at an image of a face and say, hey, does this look like anybody I've been trained to recognize? What are the landmarks of the face? What are the facial features? Are they wearing glasses? Are they wearing makeup? Tell me about their hat or hairstyles. So you get a little bit of information about this. You can see, hey, is this person similar to other people? So this is maybe part of my family. Things like that. It's actually a little scary all that face can do. But face is a really good thing if your application needs to be able to recognize like the main user for security purposes. Speech. So there's a lot of things we can do with speech with cognitive services. So we can translate existing text to speech, and it'll actually generate that file. You can actually download that and work with it and save that offline. So you might even use Azure just to generate your speech files, instead of trying to record something yourself or hiring a voice actor or whatever it might be. So you can actually take your text and generate some speech out of it, which is pretty cool. You can have Azure listen to some spoken text or spoken dialogue and generate text from that. And you can also train it to recognize certain speakers. So you can set up a vocal footprint for somebody and say, yeah, this is definitely a user that I've interacted with before. Okay, I'm verifying your identity. Or hey, this sounds like Joe, who I know because I've interacted with him before. You can also use speech translation to translate live audio from one spoken language to another from the subsets of selected language for that. That's really cool. You can imagine a very handy application for that for travelers or something like that. Decision-making capabilities. This is where we're getting a little bit more divergent from each other. So we have anomaly detection, which is going to help us flag things that are a little more unusual, such as a fraudulent or possibly fraudulent transaction. You get content moderation, which can look at text to see if it's containing adult languages. You can also take a look at images and make sure that they're not racy or something of that nature, something that you might not want to be uploaded on your application. Finally, Personalizer is a recommendation engine that will kind of recommend one best thing for a user, and as you interact more with it and you call your API with that user, it's going to start looking at more relevant content. So it's a way of sort of personalizing the recommendations you give to your users based on their past behavior. So that's pretty cool. So these are the cognitive services. And one of the more common questions as you get into things is, well, when should I use cognitive services versus when should I use an individual service? So for example, if I'm going to take some text and convert it to speech, should I use a new text-to-speech service or should I use the cognitive services? Well, my guidelines are, when you plan on using multiple things or multiple things maybe in the future, you don't need to restrict your developers. You're fine with developers adding in new capabilities to cognitive services. Use cognitive services. It's the easiest way of adding new things. It's the easiest way of managing things under one service because you have one API key that you're dealing with, or a pair of API keys rather, versus having to use different endpoints, different API keys for the individual services if you're going to work with individual ones. Now, if you don't want your developers to be able to add in new capabilities, only work with a specific set of cognitive services, then yeah, okay, use the individual ones. Additionally, if you need very, very granular billing control, then that's probably another case where you're going to be using the individual services versus the cognitive services umbrella. So if you're interested in this, you want to play around with it, get started with it, I recommend Microsoft Learn. They have some really cool ways of getting started with this. I'll put the link to that in the description of this video. But Microsoft Learn is free, and it's really, really, really great. There's some very good content here for learning more about these things. You can also study for the Azure AI Fundamentals certification. That's exam AI 900. And it takes about a week to get ready for. I have a separate article on that. But that's a very, very good way of getting a deeper level of familiarity with what's in cognitive services without having to spend a lot of time studying for an exam. If you like this video, like and subscribe. It helps future you and other people like you find content like this. I also talk a lot more about Azure and data science in general at accessibleai.dev, and you can always connect with me on Twitter at IntegerMan. Thanks for your time. I hope you really enjoy whatever it is you choose to do with your awesome skills. Have a good day.